For us, it's like Chris said, we want Australia to fall in love with farmers again, and then understand what we do to help them through tough times.
Yeah. All right. Well, here we go.
Yeah.
Jason, Chris,
G'day.
Flano for a farmer, which is obviously we're going to get into a little bit more, but Farm Angels is the main one that you guys are here representing. I got to say, I saw the truck downstairs. You're not going to lose you in the car park, are you?
No, you're not.
The Flanomobile.
The Flanomobile. We've been driving that thanks to Skyfleet and Sinorama for the last couple of weeks as part of the campaign. And you got to drive like a nana in it because everybody's looking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not allowed to drive.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do well with that at all. Not at all.
Yeah. No, she's flash.
Yeah. So you guys have come down. I mean, everybody, I think, would have by now, one way or another, heard about Farm Angels or what was before Drought
Angels.
Okay, so they would have heard of one of the two.
We hope so.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, you are getting around. It's everywhere. So, but for those who haven't, why don't you give us a bit of a rundown on what it is that you're doing?
Yep.
Because I think it's awesome, and the fact that you're here sharing the story with me, I just think is awesome as well. So give us a run through it.
Well, thanks for the interest and opportunity, of course. Our founder Tash Johnston, her friend Nikki, were working in Chinchilla, and at the sort of the middle section of drought's just starting to bite, and people are hurting, and they're hearing people come to this cafe telling stories one after the other. And finally, one came in where there's this farmer out west who went to sell his cattle because he'd had enough. He said, "I've just got to sell everything." And the truck came. The cattle were in too poor condition. They were all emaciated. And the truck driver said, "Sorry, can't take them. I'm responsible. They won't make the trip." So, thanks. And here's the bill. And so the farmer got his gun, killed all the cattle, shot his working dogs, and then turned the gun on himself.
Shit.
Yeah. And it was that story that sparked him into action, because I said, we have to do something. We have to make sure that no farmer ever feels like that's the only solution for themselves. And then she said, well, what's the government doing? What are people doing? How are we allowing this to happen? Because these are the people, through their blood, sweat and tears, put food on our table.
Absolutely.
Right? So they go out there and they, and remember that farmers are price takers. They don't set the price, whatever the market says, but they still, day in, day out, they produce. So anyway, Tash said, right, we're going to do something. Started with rattling the tin and then calling for donations and finding out that there's lots of gaps in support. Back then, there were a lot more gaps in support for farmers. And she said, can we help with clothes? Can we help with money? And so on. And then 8 containers in her backyard later, her husband said, maybe, and the charity who was auspicing us at the time said, you need to probably go out on your own totally and get serious about what you're doing.
She was under someone else's banner.
That's right.
Okay.
And so to get donations and tax deduction, whatever, and the like, and then when it became, it was about 2-3 years, and then it became a charity proper, as we know it as then Drought Angels Limited. And then began the whole process of ensuring that we had a program of work and dealt with our farmers. And right now, so as we see it today, we run our farmer journey. So every farmer who comes in contact with Farm Angels is never forgotten. So at a minimum, every 12 months, we'll do a check-in call. In the sensitive periods, it could be, we do an initial call, and it might be 3 months, 6 months, could be 2 weeks, 4 weeks.
Kind of depends on the call that you just had. Yeah,
you got it. Yeah. So, and then we make sure that throughout that period, like we've just done Father's Day hampers. And, we always check in and like any business, you have a look and say, these things really getting cut through. Because it's a lot of work to pull together a little hamper and send out a couple of hundred of them to farmers you're dealing with sort of in the moment.
Yeah.
And that's Father's Day, Mother's Day, Christmas, we do birthday cards and gifts for the kids and so on and so forth, again, tailored to each family. And we've found that some of that stuff is the most important stuff.
Just those soft touch
just that,
Yeah.
you know, wow, you've sent me this. You actually haven't forgotten. You remembered. Oh, that little thing you told me about. Oh, and they're all handwritten cards too. So
Yeah.
Tash comes up with the message, and volunteers and staff handwrite them, and we put them in there. And it's a thank you. Hey, thanks. Someone's thinking about you. We really appreciate the work you do.
Yeah.
So she genuinely believes in a hand up, not a hand out.
Yep.
And we get some wonderful feedback from farmers just saying, you know, there's this one story they really love about the, you know, lady who, you know, husband's working away to get some extra income, so he's off farm. She's been dealing with the animals been playing up, had young kids, they're playing up. It's about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. She's just had it. She just wants to wash the day off, and she's just thinking, what's this all for? She said, I was just feeling a low point, and I walk into the bathroom, there's a shower cap. And the shower cap that we included in the Mother's Day pack. And she said, I looked at that shower cap and I put it on, and it just reminded me that people care.
Yeah, nice.
And that story is so powerful for us. And we get story after story. You're sitting with a farmer, they'll open the drawer and they'll say, see this? Got this a couple of years back. Total stranger. I think some kid wrote it, and it says, thank you, thinking of you. And when I'm feeling shitty, I get this out and look at it, take a deep breath, put it back. So it's those sort of things that keep us doing what we do.
Yeah. I think, God, there was a lot in that. As far as the people that you're dealing with, though, I mean, obviously the soft touch things, and I get you've got some scheduled ones that are like, if everything's going good, we're still going to touch base here and here.
Yeah.
But then you have those conversations where because I guess the conversations are mostly all volunteers and that as well, yeah? Like the people that make the phone calls and that?
We've got mainly staff now. In the early days, it was volunteers. We have volunteers assisting us if we go out on the road. So we've got our Angels on the Road part of our program, and you might have someone riding shotgun. So I'll go out and a volunteer might come.
Right, yeah.
Chris will go out and there'll be a volunteer or a staff member. They help just keep that emotional support for the staff member as well, and generally just help defray the conversation a bit, because it can get a bit deep and meaningful, as you can imagine.
Sure.
Very intense, gets intense.
But those phone calls, if someone makes one of those calls and they're like, I think be like, Jono's doing awesome. Let's just stick with the normal regime.
Yep.
He's, but Bob, poor Bob, sorry, any Bobs out there. But Bob's having a fucking rough time. We need to go and see him, or like there's different steps in place that are supporting that you do. Like
definitely. So I guess we curate things. So if we look at a scenario where we've had the recent Western Queensland floods, for example, and we'll touch base with community members, find out, because some of the farmers can't get to you if you've gone to a town there, or they could be in a recovery centre, and we start the conversation. We'll get in with different government departments and so on, and it's overwhelming. Their heads are full of cotton wool. They've said, my head's full of cotton wool. I just don't know what to do. Look, it's devastation here, there and everywhere. So we'll help them find the right support first, because we say, we're going to be around for a while. Don't worry about us. Have you got this grant and that grant? Have you applied for this assistance, and so on and so forth? So initially, we help them curate that. Yeah. And then if there's any particular support like financials, structuring or whatever, then we've got particular partners like rural financial counsellors and so on that we direct them to. And then if we notice that they really need some special attention, then we'll refer them to either a counselling service or Lifeline or something else like that. So we've got lots of connections that we can help point in the right direction.
And we've got a lot of experience, or the team has a lot of experience as well in cutting through that red tape with the government support that might be out there initially. So it could be a farmer's first time having to apply for a grant or a loan through government to assist. And our team are pretty good at it.
You can see that getting overwhelming.
Yeah,
quick
so
for
you can see they're getting
overwhelmed.
overwhelmed. So sit with them and go, right, here's the messages, or here's the things, and these are the boxes that you need to tick. Where are you at here? Where are you at there? And then they assist in input that grant, and then we'll catch up. Hey, how did you go? Have you heard back from them? Let's go, and we advocate for the farmers.
Yeah, and that's a check-in piece that we got. How'd you go with that bit? Oh, I couldn't bloody... Go on, give us a look at that again.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, do any require a visit? So then we'll say, okay, we think we need to go out on property. because there's nothing. All the research says that face-to-face on property is the most powerful thing that
for
you
sure.
can do. Yeah.
Like direct face-to-face human contact, especially for somebody that doesn't get off the farm all that much, you know.
That's right.
Doesn't get around people and get around that banter and bullshit of more city. Although, I mean, you see that just... I've got this image of, you know, the farmers and stuff like that from things. And I mean, this is going back a lot of years from stuff my old man told me, but like, it was like every Friday night they were into the main pub and all that sort of stuff. But I would imagine it would still be pretty isolating for the majority of the week.
Yeah, it's probably there. I mean, there's two sides. So one, you're right. One of our team went out and saw a lady on property out in Western Queensland, and she said, "Oh, wow, you know, you're my fifth visit this year."
Right.
And he said, "Fifth visit?" Yeah. He said, and she said, "And you've been here twice." So I've only had like 3 other people visit me this year. Yeah. But the worst thing is, and you mentioned the pub, they're a great place. Any social activity, so we try to support those activities to occur.
Yeah.
We find that social isolation is the killer. So it doesn't matter whether there's people there or a distance, it's that they're not communicating with people. And we've had some feedback where they said, don't know what you did here, but with old Fred, but Fred's went and saw his neighbours the other day and went, okay, makes sense. He went and saw his neighbour. He hasn't seen his neighbours in 4 years.
Yeah, right.
Right. And
Just
so
opening that door a bit.
That's right. And so he felt comfortable engaging, and there's a stigma, like he felt like he was a failure. So
And then you got the farmers that may get dobbed in by their community champion or the publican or something like that. You know, it's a regular occurrence. On a Tuesday, they're in for steak night, and then all of a sudden they're not there, and then the next week they're not there. So it rings alarm bells, you know, and they go, okay, well, something might be up. So can we reach out? And we reach out, and often, they've found themselves in overwhelm and or in a bit of a tough spot. And the first thing they do is go internal. Rather than reaching out and having conversations with a mate. They feel like a failure, so they don't want to show face. What
do you mean being like dobbed in? Like, for what are they getting in trouble for something, and that's why they're...
No, not at all. So
you mean because they haven't gone?
Because they haven't gone.
Hey, can you give Alfred a call? Because we haven't seen him for a couple of weeks.
Right. I'm thinking they've dobbed him in for doing something. He's fucked off. Right, okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Not coming here again.
Yeah. So no, dobbed in because he hasn't attended or something is a creature of habit and was always in every Tuesday night. All of a sudden he isn't. The town go, okay, that might mean something's up.
And we think he needs a visit by someone who's not part of the community. We act as that type of, informal stranger that they can just talk to and open up to.
Yeah, it's funny that like the psyche around opening up to a complete stranger is odd.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I get it, because it's like I've had conversations in the past and, you sort of get to the end of it, like, I can't believe I fucking said half that shit, but it's not something that would come up with, in a more intimate kind of conversation with somebody that you know really well, because maybe it comes back to that sort of that fear of looking like a failure, or fear of like, no, it's actually not all that good over here, but we all keep that bravado, face. And I think, for a farmer, male or female, there's probably a lot of, because they'd be generational, a lot of them, wouldn't they?
A lot of them, yeah. And we've got farmers who work, they're either ex-farmers, current farmers, or have been involved on the land for years. And I say, how do you go? And because what you don't want is to be the expert and say, oh, Ben, well, let me tell you my day, right?
Yeah.
That's we never. So, and openly they'll say, well, because let me define also a farmer really is a primary producer. So it could be someone who farms prawns, they could grow lettuce, they could have a broadacre crop, could be grapes or whatever. So it's a primary producer. And you speak of multi-generational, I saw an oyster farmer, and that was 6th generation. I said, geez, 6th generation oyster. He said, yeah, I started as fisherman, then got into oysters and so on and so forth. But the part with our farmers is that for something like that, said, one of our ladies goes, I'm into cattle and crops. I don't know anything about oysters or prawns or lettuce or whatever. So I just act curious. Tell me about your business. Tell me, how does that work? How does this work here? It works for me like this. And so we don't go in, we just ask the questions, and then they just open up. Tell us about your operation. Where are you struggling? I don't know. Oh, that's really good to hear, and so on and so forth. So yeah, and it just opens up, bang, and all the stuff comes out.
Yeah, curiosity is always a good place to come at it from. I think in any conversation we've had here, I think some of the ones where I've known a lot about the person or the thing, I've found it harder because it's like I don't know what to ask because I know the answer to half the shit I would want to ask if I didn't know. So I find that's I get a lot of enjoyment out of it coming from that curiosity point of view, and I think it also helps people tell their story if you don't know all the answers. When you're in the middle of the conversation.
That's right.
Because that blows my mind. I was going through today. Making a couple of notes and checking some stuff on, which we'll get into a bit later, but like some of the support you guys have had and stuff like that. But not one fucking moment did I think of an oyster.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Like an oyster farmer. Yeah. Like you don't, and I mean, I know a lot of people that love seafood, so it's not like it's that removed from me. But I've never eaten one and probably never will. But I don't know. For me, it's the snot. It's the snot ball of the sea. Snot ball. Everybody loves them, and I have this whole thing about you don't like oysters because you like oysters Kilpatrick. You like tomatoes and bloody bacon and stuff. You don't like anyway. Yeah, that's going off topic. but I'd never thought about oysters towards farming.
That's right, and that's where we're at, and where we'd like to shift the messaging. Yes, it's around support, but it's also around primary production and what that means. I've had conversations before with people kind of left and into renewable stuff, and they say, what are you going to do when we don't need farmers? And tell me what you mean about that. Well, they're making steak out of Petri dishes now and selling it to Singapore. Well, yeah, would you eat that? Well, no, I'm a vegetarian. Okay, do you eat your vegetables? Yes. What about the grapes that are in your wine? Who grows them? Oh, it's a farmer, and said even if a hemp grower, as we move into renewables and for fibre or for medicinal purposes, if they fell on their ass, we'd be there to pick them up as helping primary producers. That's what we do. Yeah, once hemp kicks off over here, I don't think there'll be too many of them need support. But it's...
Hey, I heard of one that there was... Well, I won't say where, just in case. But I couldn't believe there's a business in Queensland that went.
Really?
Yes. Yep. And they were doing the end of it. They were doing the fibre and the medicinal purpose stuff. I said, how could you not make that business work?
That's got to be because of legislation in Australia.
I think you're right. It was the governance and how they had to run it and secure it. That their costs were just
it would have been astronomical. But that's also legislation and government, because it's like they can't. And I mean, we're so strict over here with what we will and won't let people do. But we've got someone coming on next week, a guy named Ben, who's, I don't want to give away too much of it because I'm really looking forward to this one. But
here's the teaser.
He's in and around and knowledgeable on like psychedelics and like is it DMT and like psilocybin and stuff like that for medical use, for mental, medical and all that sort of stuff. And the part of the conversation we had on the phone while we were lining it up was the limitations of Australia, and it's our government. It's not anything to do with the people not wanting more options. I don't know how far you guys want to go down that track, but I've developed some opinions on how this country's being run over the last year and a half of doing these, and it's not great. And things like you mentioned before about the farmers are not the ones setting the prices for things. It's like anybody in any other industry is whoever creates the thing is the one that sets the price. That I can't think of another industry where somebody's creating a product and they're not the ones telling us how much it is.
That's right.
It's the big chains that are the ones setting the price. And when they need to move some stuff and they don't, they want to buy more, or there's not as much call for it, and they go, no, we're not paying that much for this quality or this quantity of that product, and the farmers have just got to cop it. That's horse shit.
Yeah, and the time where people in Metro understand that and start to learn that is, there's no tomatoes on the shelves. Well, that's because they got taken out by biosecurity or biosecurity hazards, egg shortages. which we've had recently, and
Yes.
people go, oh, why are there no eggs on the shelf? Well, because 4 months earlier there was avian flu or something that affected that, and so down the production line, that's why you're paying more price for eggs, or there's a shortage, you're only allowed 1 carton, and it's all those things where people will go, why are the supermarkets doing this, not looking back and going, it's removed from that. What are the farmers going through to affect this down here?
From that point, because I mean, the one that stands out to me always, because for forever and a day, the iceberg lettuces were $1. And then at one point, and this is going back a few years now, but at one point they were like $5 each. So my question on that, and I don't know if you even know, but this is, I don't get these opportunities all the time to talk direct to like that sort of topic. But if Woolies is charging $5 for an iceberg lettuce, does that mean they've paid, like that's 5 times what they normally are? Does that mean they've paid that farmer 5 times more for that lettuce, or are they putting that price up because they know they're not going to sell 100,000 of them this month because there's only 10,000 of them available?
Well, it depends on their supply chain, because some they do through market, some they got contracts with.
Right.
So, and it will be supply and demand. So if you'll normally find that because there's been wiped out by a cyclone or something, all the lettuce farmers, and so they've got to pay the extra freight and so on and so forth. I don't want to get in the old supermarket bash, but their costs would have gone up.
Yeah.
And so those other farmers, I don't know the price they would receive. They've probably still got their contract price, but it means it's costing, now I've got to freight it 3 times as much, or there's not as much around. And so they've got some complex equations they've got to deal with as well in terms of their finances. But at the end of the day, you wouldn't see the farmer getting 5 times as much.
That's the thing. And I mean, look, I think there's 2 parts in, because I mean, farm's a business. It's like anything else. I think if you've got a contract where you are like, and I mean, I say Woolies, but it's just the first thing that comes to mind. It's like, they go out and go, right, that farm, you're growing for us. Here's the contract. We'll only buy this, blah, 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 whatever. Well, now you're in a deal. So that's what you're doing. But for the ones that take it to market and they're like, this is what we're producing, here it is for whether it's the shopping centres to buy or private people or whatever, or the mum and dad fruit store around the corner. Like it's them, the ones that are getting price gouged from what my understanding is, because it's like they're being set. But see, then that doesn't even make any sense, because if they've got a truckload of stuff and Woolies has just put the price of iceberg lettuce up to $5, then theoretically they would be making a killing on it, because they could only go up to $3 and they've still got 3 times what they were, and they're still cheaper than Woolies. God, this is hurting my head already.
Yeah. Well, it depends. They might have to go off contract. They might go, all our contracted farmers are gone, so we got to pay average market rate.
Okay.
So there's a whole lot of factors. It's its whole own commodity market in itself when you have a look at these things. And if you ever listen to some rural radio, they'll say, the price of this is that, and the price of that. It's market fluctuates, just like looking at the stock market, but in produce and cattle and the lambs and pigs and this and that and so on and so forth. It's fluctuating all over the place, and some of it's driven internationally. Like we were supporting some farmers in central Queensland, and they were running goats and sheep and cattle, trying to diversify what they had. And they said, yep, we've got all of our goats are export goats. They go to New York.
Right.
I said, all right. And they said, yeah, big market. And the prices were inflated. I said, look, we knew that market, there's a big demand on it, a lot of the refugees and so on and so forth, and we had good quality product. So we'd factored in a 50% drop in price. So we knew it was going to drop a bit. We were hoping it's going to be 40%. 70-something% later drop. They've gone, great. And so they said our costs have gone through the roof because we operate a humane farming. We're not just going to slaughter, and goats breed a lot, so we're just trying to keep the herd safe until we can find out what we can do with them without losing too much money.
Yeah.
But they said our costs, we still have to feed them, and then they said look around. Of course, it's drought and we don't have much feed, so we're hand feeding these things. So the cost per kilo to keep these animals going rises. But they're not going to get it. In fact, their prices dropped. So they said they were lucky. They said the one thing we had to do, unfortunately, we had to sell our cattle. And we were lucky we had a fixed price, and they honoured the fixed price. And that got us out of the hole. That got us just to stay neutral for a while.
Yeah.
And they said, we just hope this other stuff kicks up again so we can just get a bit of income.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's like any business, I guess there's always gambles with doing like diversifying and stuff like that. But it's just more of I think the public perception is on people that have paid any kind of attention to anything. It's like you look at the profits of some of these big franchise chains and you're like, our farmers, the ones that are supplying you with a lot of the stuff, it's kind of like, it's a bit rough. It's a bit one-sided.
And you look at the dairy industry and what, so $1 a litre in stores, and we know the farmer's getting 20 cents, sometimes less. And that's a lot of work and a lot of effort to go into.
And if you look at the prices going back to the 1950s, not much has changed. And that's not even real terms. That's not even, it was 20 cents then and now that 20 cents is now this much or so on. We're literally talking the same 20 cents or whatever it might be in those terms. And that, is it our fault? Is it that we want to drive? We're saying cost of living is too high. We're forcing the supermarkets to cut that, and that's a flow-on effect as a consumer. Like, it's too bloody expensive, I want cheap milk. So I don't know. Are we as consumers guilty or play a part in that? Not sure.
I would say no. And I would say like a flat out no, because we're not driving the cost of the farmer's sale down, where, if anything, it's the supermarkets that are doing that because they don't want to lose their profit margin. But when you've turned whatever billion amount of profit per annum, it's kind of like you got a little fat in there, buddy. Like, you can take a bit of a hit. But like there's some parts of it I get, like the milk and stuff like that, things of that nature that have to, like a specific type of packaging, like glass bottles and, plastics and all that sort of stuff. Lettuce doesn't go through that. Yeah. Carrots don't go through that. Like there's certain parts of it you kind of go like, there's very little handling in this. But I mean, and I guess there's some sides of it that they pay for, but don't they? Oh, we're going down a hole.
We are going to
a whole rabbit hole here. Anyway. But what we will go back on the track with, the shirts and the hat. Thank you for the hat.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's actually a really comfy trucker hat. I don't normally I'm more like flat brim, but this is comfy. I appreciate it. You're not going to get me in a pink shirt though, so you can keep them. That's all right. But the flano for a farmer, how does that actually tie into all this?
So flano for a farmer was a concept by one of our farmers who we helped. And he said, so how can we saw a lot of these other charities doing a day for this, a day for that. And he said, well, why don't we have a flano for a farmer so that we can, get awareness. So it's more so the awareness piece. So don a flano, farmer gives a shirt off their back. So why don't you put one on for them?
Yeah.
Show them your care, and give a donation. And then that turned into, set up a team, do a fundraiser, just like all these other fundraisers that we've seen over the years, a morning tea for this, a morning tea for that. So that's how it was born, through one of our farmers talking to his mate who we grew up with. So it's Dan and Kirk. Dan Fitzpatrick's our farmer, and Kirk Reynolds, an ex-Storm player.
Okay, yeah.
So they grew up together and came up with this concept, and so it's taken off. This our third year of doing it, we love it, and we think it's giving. Our job is to make sure that we give the awareness of what a farmer is, a primary producer. It's not just one-dimensional; it's multi-dimensional, and the fact that it actually lands like. Who would have thought a beekeeper's a farm? Like, you wouldn't have thought a beekeeper's a farmer. Beekeeper's a beekeeper. You go, oh, yes, they're a primary producer. And bees are valuable to our ecosystem environment, so on and so forth, and they got hit with the varroa mite, a mite that got on the bees and killed all the bees. So they were devastated by that. So we helped out beekeepers in New South Wales in particular. So it's the awareness that we try to do through programs like this, because most people wouldn't know, or they wouldn't see the correlation between it or understand who's suffering and why. And
it's a simple call to action, 14th of August, wear your flano, show Aussie farmers you've got their back. And if you can, make a donation. It's just a simple
Or on the
call.
15th of August.
Oh, we are on the 15th of August, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's
our head of fundraising and marketing.
Chris. That's Friday.
That's Friday, yeah. So this will go live on Friday.
Yep.
Excellent. So make sure you put it live on the 15th, not the 14th.
Not the 14th.
So like Chris was saying, the 15th of August is Flano for a farmer.
Yeah.
But every day is Flano Day in winter.
That's right.
So July and August. So get it on, just show you care, put the word out. That's it. And if you can afford to do it, just make a small donation, set up a team, get a group of mates together.
Well, that Lowe's, I mean, they're right in with all the footy boys, so that makes a lot of sense that that's sort of gone full circle with the. God, now I've already forgotten his name.
Kirk.
Kirk.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say Hicks for some reason. I don't know where I got that from.
Kirk. Yep.
Kirk. It makes a lot of sense for Lowe's to be involved with I mean, I'm guessing Kirk probably had something to do with getting Lowe's involved because they have had a relationship with the footy guys for forever.
They have, but strangely no. So
Really?
we just reached out and because they do flanos and they are like, I guess it was because of that connection we felt there was a synergy.
Yeah.
And
And they're an accessible brand.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
that's what we want. We're pretty laid back, cruisy. We want accessibility for both farmers and our supporters.
Yeah.
So it kind of made sense to reach out.
You can get them at Lowe's too?
Not this particular one,
Right.
but what Lowe's did was generously donated 2,000 flanos to us.
Oh, wow.
And they got them embroidered for us and so on. So packaged up, ready to go, so that we could use that. So that was their donation to us that we could sell.
Yeah.
And that means that then 100% of the proceeds of the flano sales are going directly to the activities to support the farmers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And they did them all in pink.
They did do them all in pink.
Well, because our founder Tash loves pink, so they gave us a choice of patterns,
Yep.
and so this was the closest one that Tash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you know what? With all the awareness and where we're at, maybe we could twist Tash's arm. That might not be pink next year. It might be a different colour, and we get more.
Oh, look,
And
they
she'll
stand
say-
out.
Yeah, that's right. And so she
And
wants
they-
it to stand out. And
Yeah.
I think she said, yep, as long as it's got pink in it somewhere. Like last year's one was blue with a bit of pink in it.
Yeah.
So she said, as long as it's got pink.
Yeah.
So
That's
Yeah,
her. That's just her colour.
it is.
So just for Ben, we'll put pink on the tag.
No,
somewhere.
I can't do it. I'm like, I cannot call pink salmon.
No.
It's like, it's fucking pink.
No. And look, that comes with the territory, right?
does.
Wow.
Working with Farm Angels and
Yeah.
Pink Wings have always been the standout and what we're known for, and it comes with the
Yeah,
territory.
the wings is a cool logo.
Yeah. And that was a design and with a heart in the middle.
Yeah.
Where is our logo?
It's on your back.
On the back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the back. There's a heart in the middle of the in the wings there, and that's Tash. She's
Isn't that
all
what's
heart.
on what's on this?
A flano for a farmer.
Oh, that's,
You got
that's
the
the same logo, yeah.
You'll have the wings on the back of that trucker.
Rock
And
on.
so and we do. Our work shirts are Pilbras, and so they've got the big wings across the back and so on. And there's a hot pink Pilbara.
Yep.
I don't wear that one. I leave that to Chris and
Come on.
the crew.
Yeah.
No, they reckon you got to be man enough to wear pink, and I'm like, fuck, call me a fairy, I don't care. Can't do it. I can't do it. But they do look good. You wear it well. Like, I don't know if that was a fucking compliment or not.
Yeah, that's right. I'll take it as one. I've got to
Take
turn
it
it
as a
positive.
compliment. Take it as a compliment. Now, you guys have got. I know you've got to wrap things up this afternoon at some point, so you keep me in line with that.
Yep.
And we'll just we'll roll with it. But I did want to give a shout out because you've got some pretty big names. Obviously, Lowe's is one, but you got old Travis Fimmel on as well.
That's right,
Traveller.
Traveller. So yeah, look. So he wanted to make a homegrown beer. And that's another thing that people take for granted. Where's beer come from? Oh, beer factory.
Yeah.
And so
The bottle shop.
Yep, the bottle shop.
Yeah.
Out of a truck. But it's got malt and hops and wheat or whatever it might be. That's all part of it. Australian ingredients. So and Trav definitely gets that. And he said so. He comes from a dairy farming background and says we need to support farmers and because we've got a homegrown beer with homegrown ingredients.
Yeah.
And so he's right in behind it. And so it was a natural fit. And through Long Drive for Drought was how we met him. Because he's got a 40 Series Land Cruiser.
Yep.
Yep. And
Right in with the Land Cruiser, Mr. Land Cruiser,
That's right. Yep.
Richard and Paul. They were the ones that actually introduced me to Trav. I knew there was a relationship there. I didn't realise that Trav owned it.
Yes.
And they came down, did an episode, and brought a couple of cases of it, and it was like, yeah, right. It's amazing how like we're in Australia, and he's a big name for Australia, and Traveller's making waves in Australia, and I still didn't put the two together.
Yeah, no, and look, what you see is what you get with Trav. He's so humble. He's just genuine.
He seems like that, yeah.
Yeah. So he's an actor by trade, but everything you see is him. It's genuine. So
Yeah, we spoke to Georgie and about getting Trav on, and she was like, oh, he's not really one for doing a lot of that, to camera stuff.
Yep.
And I had to have a giggle when I saw him with the Aussie man. I saw they were proper cut doing that.
He'd had one or two beers.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Looked like a lot of fun. But the fact that he's getting behind it as well, you're obviously getting a lot of support. Is that where? Because I guess the donations make sense. So you do an event, people donate, they buy flanos, hats, all that sort of stuff. Do you guys have like a corporate kind of thing behind you to help prop it up and keep it moving forward, or you just rely on the donations and purchases?
So donations are our mainstay. Like us, individual donors. We do have some core corporates, like we mentioned Skyfleet before. They supply a couple of vehicles to us. The Flanomobile is on loan for a period, but they, without hesitation, they support it, and they supported our launch too with a cash donation. Ray White Rural been long-term supporters of ours.
Yeah,
as well.
That's good.
Yeah, and so
you've got IGA, Traveller, Sinorama as well, and Ampol.
Yeah.
That support. So they get behind us, and whether that's through donations or in kind bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But and IGA will do they're currently doing the token campaign, so you can go into store, $2, make a donation, and they'll put the token up on the wall, and so that this year has grown. So it was Queensland only last year. This year it's grown to Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, and the Northern Territory, which is phenomenal for us, and the work and the awareness that we're doing. So that can only grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's it? Yeah, one state to like what, 4 or 5?
Yeah.
And a territory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's amazing support from those, and they get it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you got the big brands to get out there and push that. I mean, like, how many people does a survey see every day?
Yeah.
Like that's, Lowe's, everybody.
And a lot of the things like the Ampol go out and distribute to farms, and that's what they see. They've got a lot of farming customers, for the tractors, etc. And so we want to give back. We've got a massive customer base. It's rural, regional. Their primary production is their core business. They do business with us. This is a way we can support them. Yeah, and I think the top of mind, because you said it before too, like with the disassociation that people have between like where it comes from and all of it. Like I've heard I rolled my eyes when I first heard it, because someone was doing an interview somewhere and they were talking about the steaks and that they come from the shops, and you're like, what are you, fucking stupid? I cannot get my head around. I'm not super educated, but I understand that it was a cow. I understand I'm eating a butt cheek or whatever. It's like that was a living thing, and I respect that they're looked after while they're alive. But the way some people seem to not understand, I can almost get the beer, because you kind of don't go too many steps deep into a beer. So I kind of get that, but not understanding that a farmer raising cattle, goats, whatever floats your boat, but I get cattle and milk and stuff like that. For people, for a sane human being of our sort of day and age to not understand where some of it comes from. Was it you said before about the lab grown stuff? The lab grown stuff, and
where's that getting sent?
Singapore.
They'll eat anything. Don't worry about
that's
that.
That's right.
That's nobody over here is eating that.
Yeah. No, but that's the thing, right? There's a market for it, and you're 100% right. We chat and do education at schools around the whole process, and there's a life cycle of things, and we've got a school that comes out to our office in Chinchilla, and they volunteer their time, and we've got some volunteers that be cooking breakfast and stuff. So full camp out, and then come in and build fences on farms or assist or help us in the workshop. And one of the questions was, where do your eggs come from? And he said, the eggplant.
Oh my God.
Okay, mate.
How, these are kids,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, these are
that's
kids. So,
teenagers.
Yeah, teenagers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
Teenagers.
so explaining that there's a journey, and look, to be fair, some people don't want to associate their meat with a cow, but a carrot is a carrot, right?
Yeah.
It's always been a carrot.
Yeah.
And so we can talk about the story of carrots before without offending anyone. So working that and weaving that in and going, well, the carrot was cared for, it was loved by the farmer. And then it was picked and it was put on a truck, and that's how it ends up to your shop. That's to your store. That's how everything ends up there.
Yeah.
Everything has a life before it's trapped in cellophane or sellotape, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are people that you talk about a carrot or a zucchini or a cucumber or some of these mung beanie things or whatever, and you go, where's that come from? Oh, the shop. And how's it get the shop? Out of a big cool roomy thing, or isn't it? Those big. A greenhouse, yeah, one of those things, like a factory sort of thing for plants, right? Who does that? You reckon? I don't know. The company.
Yeah.
And seriously, they go, I never really thought about it. I don't know. Yeah, it isn't a big greenhouse, and there's some like out in the Lockyer Valley, huge, tracts of land that have greenhouse or open plains, where you get your veggies from. They're farmers.
Yeah.
Right, never, and they just didn't associate it, and we can't. It's not a criticism. It's like that just said to us, we have to do more education about who they are, what they produce, and associate it back to. If you're not supporting them, then how will stuff like this, one, be affordable, and two, actually end up you get fresh produce on the table, but you're gonna, as opposed to in a packet somewhere that could have been imported from overseas.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, you can be diplomatically correct if you like, but I think it is a criticism because I think they're idiots. Like, how do you get to an adult life and not have at least some form of understanding as to how food works? Like, everything you eat at some point was alive, whether it was drawing breath in a typical way with lungs or
nutrients. Yeah. And I don't know if someone could answer that question for me. That would probably put my mind at ease as well. It's those steps and how far we're removed because we're siloed. You've got Metro Australia and then you've got regional rural Australia, and they're there. We're still here supporting you guys. Help us.
Yeah.
It would be for me. My mission within Farm Angels, and I've got a farming background. I've got a background in poultry. Is to make Australia fall in love with farmers again.
Yeah.
So what are the messages that I need to do when you think about Christmas time?
Yeah.
Everything on your plate is brought to you by a farmer.
Absolutely.
Right? And brought to you by Aussie farmers could be Christmas, it could be Easter, it could be Beer Fest for and I always think about it in my head and I go, you're touched by a farmer 3 times a day. Yeah. But maybe it's
we can that messaging.
Yeah, we can that messaging, but it's
you got it, yeah.
but
it took me a second, sorry. Yeah, all right.
But you need a farmer at least 3 times a day. Yeah. And and farming doesn't necessarily have to be the foods we eat, it's medicines as well. It's the opioids that are grown for you.
And the seasick tablets and the anti-cramp stuff. I know a guy who, forget the name of the plant, up in Wide Bay, grew it. And so they've got to wear masks and everything because they said that the stuff off the leaves is the stuff they harvest, if you like, to make the drug that goes into there. He said, seasick tablets. Yeah. And he said the anti-cramp stuff, he said, you'll see it. It'll mention on there. Yeah. And he said, we grow that. We go this special crop.
Well, I wouldn't think there'd be too many things that, like opiums, is it poppy seeds? Yeah, everything comes at some point from something that was alive.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there's not too many things that are just completely chemically created.
That's right. Well, there is.
Well,
and it's synthetic food, which are in your vegan hamburgers, right?
Oh,
that's
why even call it a hamburger? Call it like a veggie burger or something like that. Yeah. It's horrible for you and it's full of, just disgusting
synthetics.
Seed oils and stuff like that that's really bad for you. But it's like they're still calling it a hamburger. Like, it's not a hamburger. It's a
I had friends of mine try these vegan chicken nuggets or vegetarian chicken nuggets. They taste like real chicken nuggets. And I went, you know what tastes like real chicken nuggets?
Real fucking chicken nuggets.
Chicken nugget. Yeah. So we're working on speaking to the lowest common denominator, right? To say this is who farmers are and this is how they support our country.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's too many farmers creating these wannabe veggie burgers.
No.
You know, this is marketing from corporates and look, you know, some of the best marketing in history has been something that has that kind of, is it a double entendre? It's like where it's like you really mean something, but it absolutely means something else.
Yeah.
You know, you're touched by a farmer 3 times a day. That will stir shit. People will not forget that.
Yeah,
I think it's brilliant. I mean, if you don't want to...
we've
Well,
got
it
another
passes the
saying.
Ben test, right?
Yeah, we do have another saying.
Yeah, without farmers, you'll be hungry, naked, and thirsty, right?
Right.
It's hungry, naked, and sober, but we'll stick out of that because
Yes.
it's the drinks.
Yeah, because the kids, we want to say.
Yeah, you want the kids to do.
And where we mean by thirsty is it's not water. Because my son said, "Oh, do farmers make water?" Well, no, mate. It's the drinks we enjoy.
Yeah.
It's the juices and it's the beer for daddy.
Yeah.
Right. That's where we mean and that rings true.
Yeah.
Right. Without those folks, and you look at farmers get slammed. You know, they rape and pillage the land, etc. But these guys are looking in and this is how grass grows and I need to do this to increase the pasture, or if I put another crop in there it's going to increase the nitrogen in the ground, so when I do need to plant something there's a whole science behind it where people just look at and they go, oh yeah, they grow steaks, right, they grow cows, and well, no, these guys are looking after the land to make sure that they have longevity in their business.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
because
regenerative farming practices that are coming through and so on. So they're a lot more environmentally aware than people give them credit for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, that kind of hick mentality of people that don't understand what's actually going on there is probably a, you know, like that kind of redneck cowboy boots and, you know, a bit of straw hanging out of their mouth and going, you know, yelling out to the dog, just growing cattle, like not really doing anything. But the ground, because I mean, it's everything. Even the cattle. Like if the ground is dead, then there's no grass to grow for them to eat. Yeah. I mean, it's everything. Yeah, I get it. That's it's again, it opens your eyes to levels beyond the everyday sort of conversation. But I think with brands like Lowe's and you know, people like Trav involved and Traveller and all that sort of stuff. Like I mean, it's obviously going in the right direction from one state last year to where it is now.
Yeah, that's right. We're growing, and we've got a lot of support behind us, and that's where we want to make sure we're doing right by our supporters, and doing the right thing by our donors as well, and really making sure there's longevity in farming here in Australia. We that's what we want.
Well, the farmers used to be like the lifeblood of any town. It's, you know, I think you're talking about working out what you need to say to get people to fall back in love with farmers. It's kind of like just look at what's been said that's made them fall out of love and do the opposite. Because putting, I mean, it's, what was that? I cannot remember the guy's name, but he always pops into my head. Used to talk about do the lamb ads on TV.
Oh,
20
Sam
years ago.
Kekovich.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that sort of stuff. It's, you know, it's getting some names that aren't afraid to stir the pot and, you know, getting them on TV. I mean, TV's nearly dead now anyway. It's all it's all online.
Yeah.
I think I heard something the other day. YouTube now is the most streamed platform. So it's over Netflix and everything.
Wow.
It's the number one spot now. And which with these idiots at the moment doing the ban for 16 years and under for some of the stuff is idiotic, because I think there's a lot of truths on there that these kids are going to miss out on that the public news, publicly broadcasted, bought and paid for news isn't sharing. But stuff like your guys' message, that's all online, you know, and getting some of those names that aren't afraid to stir shit, getting out there and saying stuff that is going to prick people's ears up. Maybe it's not you're touched by a farmer 3 times a day,
No,
but
maybe something
Yeah.
there, and you know,
Yeah.
you're right. The get some pork on your fork
That was one of them too, yes.
has been a big one.
Yes.
And,
I hate mushrooms, but that meat for vegetarians
Yeah.
has stuck in my head for decades.
yeah, the other one was Mung Bean Association, and you drive past and they've just gone, "Where's your mung bean?" Right?
Oh, yeah.
You read
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
Gets you thinking, but it's all for the mung beans in
Yeah.
Australia and where they grow and what they're used for.
Yeah.
There's plenty out there. We'll just see what passes the TASH test.
Yeah, I think that's where it's at. Is that stirring shit? Is
Yeah.
having fun and not being afraid of these cotton wool, participation trophy people. We'll call them that. We'll stick with your diplomatically correct thing, and going through and giving it to them because it's gonna stick in their mind, especially at the moment. Like the whole woke thing is finally seems to be dying off, but I'm still not wearing a pink shirt. But it's like that seems to be going away. So it's like now's the time for that that message to be fun again.
Yeah, well, it's and you're right. You see the pendulum swing one way completely, and sooner enough it's going to find its centre.
Yeah.
And I think we're starting to move that way, and we can have fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what it needs to be, because the best lessons I learned, they were always around having fun.
Yeah.
Or a tough one,
Yeah.
falling off the bike or etc. And that's where we need to, where it would be. And we've got all these people who will sit and go, yeah, I like farmers, but what is it really that we need them to understand?
Yeah.
And what's the message that we want to get across, and then how we do that, either gently or not. But yeah, we've got to be agnostic a lot of times, having conversations, and we want to make sure we can play with everybody nicely.
Yeah.
So we kind of sit and won't be
But,
too
but everyone needs
forward.
a farmer.
Everyone
right?
does.
Absolutely.
Everyone needs a farmer, and that's the bottom line. And I think it's for us, it's like Chris said, we want Australia to fall in love with farmers again, and then understand what we do to help them through tough times.
Yeah.
So get our brand is associated with an organisation who can make sure we keep farmers farming. At the end of the day, that's what Tash said. We want to keep farmers farming and make sure that with a farmer taking their own lives one every 10 days is not
Good
acceptable.
Lord, really?
Yep. And it's like we've had our ambassadors and people on the ground saying, hey, we just lost 3 farmers over the last couple of weeks in our community. And you go, what? And so it's real. It's not just an on-paper thing. So we want to make sure that they feel that someone's got their backs, right? There's hope. And that's why we do this. That's why there's a long drive for drought, and that's why we get great supporters like IGA and Lowe's and Ray White Rural who get it, and Skyfleet, and say we want the same thing. So that's for us. And just so we want people to know that that's what we do, is to make sure that's our mission: keep farmers farming and make sure that we want to reduce that rate.
I had no idea that was like one every 10 days.
10 days. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
Absolutely.
Right? And we want to make sure that farmers have a place to reach out.
Yeah.
And that they can come to us and just have a conversation. Whether we're just a listening ear, no judgment, or whether there's something that we can do, tangible support, financial support, what we can do to give them their hand up, to help them in that moment, give them some hope, and then work with them through the farmer journey and let them know that we're standing side by side. We're in it for the long haul, and that's what we need to do. We need to really support them until they're ready to go off again and say thanks very much, and we'll reach out. And still, we've got farmers that we assisted 2014, 2016 that we're still connected with.
Yeah.
They're okay. They're through it. They're over the other side, and they're happy to tell their story and speak to farmers and say it's okay. We got a farmer who says that one of the bravest things I did was reach out for help.
Yeah.
And this guy is big and tall and built like a barn. He's just that big lad, and to hear him say that is excellent. And then he will go and advocate for us in community or at other farming forums, and just be that mouthpiece and to raise awareness. And that's what, as well as raising awareness to raise funds to support what we do, We want to make sure we're raising awareness for farmers to know that there's a place to come.
I think letting them know that it's not, because one of the very early episodes we did was Brendan from New Wave Care, who they do disabled touring. So people that like are in wheelchairs, they take them out fall driving and camp and fishing and all sorts of cool stuff.
Yep.
And we got into a bit of mental health on there, and a lot of the feedback we got was around people saying like it was good to hear men talking about mental health like men.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a stigma attached to the concept of reaching out being like, you know, like, oh, I need some help. Whereas it's really like, oh, man, like I say it to Sean all the time. It's like, oh, fuck it, I need a beer. It's just, it's still, it doesn't mean, like, because I hate that. It's not weak to speak. It's like the way that's portrayed. It's like, it's not weak to speak, but when you are speaking and you're asking for help, it doesn't have to be, because I think a lot of these big bravado personalities are like, some of them probably go, oh, fuck, I don't want to help. I'll be all right, you know, and they just keep pushing through. But the ones that want to reach out and don't want to look like they're, you know, weak or whatever in their mind, I think it's because it's been framed in their mind that that type of conversation has to be all soppy and lovey-dovey and blah, blah, blah. And they need to know that it's just, mate, I just need to chat. I need to unload some shit, man. Like, I need a beer, you know?
Or let's go away, you know? Some of the world's problems are solved by a campfire.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, it's those sorts of things. It's that circuit breaker.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a lovey-dovey conversation. It can just be, hey, let's go, let's have a meal, let's have a chat, chinwag.
Well, half it is just getting it out, right?
Yes.
It's just, you know, verbalising it. Like both of you looking in the campfire, just verbalising it. You know what? I'm struggling with blah, 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 or this is really giving me the shits, or whatever. And just the actual physical release is a huge, literally a weight off your mind.
Absolutely.
And you know, when you've got the financial pressures and this and that and family pressures, and am I being a good dad? You know, geez, I'm sixth generation. God, my bloody great grandfather ran this. Oh, friggin' hell, and they did it. You know, like he used to walk into town and back carrying railway sleepers in to build the fences. You know,
uphill both ways.
Yeah, that's it. But I can't bloody make the books balance or something.
Yeah.
Right. And so get it out. Right? Just say it. And I think that's the majority of the battle. And it's just, there is a stigma. Right? There is still a stigma. It is all those things. I don't want to look weak. I don't want to look soppy. I still am the pillar for my family.
Yeah.
Right? And especially now that I'm the patriarch sometimes, and I've got, everyone's looking up to me.
Yeah.
And so I have to stay strong for them. And if I look vulnerable, then am I having a ripple effect? And the answer is no.
That's right.
That you can actually just get it out, say it, talk to someone. That's where that other person sitting next to you in the camp chair talking to the campfire. Essentially, you're talking to yourself, but really
feels better when there's another person there.
Yeah, exactly.
And when there's another person there, you find you're not so isolated because somebody else might be going through the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's not just me.
And it's normal.
One of the things that I got out of one of the early chats was, if you're feeling something, say it to a mate, because you never know, you don't know that he's not feeling the same shit.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you're opening the door. So even if you need to look at it for yourself as this isn't about you, this is about you checking in with your mate, it's like, but it's twofold. You get it off your chest and you give him a safe space to open up about possibly the same thing or something similar.
Yeah.
And it's like, so even if you need to go, I don't want to talk about this, but you can frame it for your own thinking that it's about helping your mate, and that lets you do it. Fuck, do that.
Yeah.
As long as you're getting it off your chest and it's not sitting there boiling away at you or eating away at you or whatever phrase that people want to use, but it's like getting it out there. It's better than it sitting inside.
That's right. I went down to to South Australia, and as part of the trip, I stopped in for it was a mental health awareness night for dairy farmers.
Yep.
Now they had there was probably 30 dairy farmers from the region came in and their family, and they ran a couple of things, and I'm looking at these old farmers, and I'll call them the rusty farmer.
Yeah.
And they told me the program and what they were going to do, and they said, we're going to do this. And I went, oh, it feels a little bit lovey-dovey, right? But when you got there and the power of having 30 blokes standing, eyeballing each other and having conversations or just stepping forward if they were feeling bad or they'd felt financial pressures or something. And at the end of the session, you're standing opposite your mate or someone you've never met. They said, what we need to do is make sure you've either been, have you been heard? Have you been helped? And people went, yep. And he goes, have you been hugged? And these blokes all went, no. And then 30 farmers just stepped forward and embraced each other. Yeah. It was a powerful moment. And that's one of the things that I took out of that is, how are people feeling? And we've taken it to our farmer support team. And have they been heard? Have they been helped? Have they been hugged?
Yeah.
And to do that, and these generational farmers who, you come and talk to people about your mental health, they'll tell you where to go really quick.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a nice defining moment to see that that's hopefully changing and that stigma.
And I think if there's a situation that people are in where that's available to them, absolutely, and if and it's almost like the same thing. It's like, you don't want to look like a failure in a room where you're like, yeah, okay, all right, I'll have a hug. Yeah. Because you don't want to not go with it as well. So it's like, it's almost forcing them to open up, even if they're a little bit guarded. And in a situation where there's something put together like that, absolutely. But when there's not, it's like, don't be fearful of just grabbing your mate and having a beer and talking shit. Because it's like, sometimes, Sean and I have had conversations that many times where I've got shit off my chest where it was like, that was not at all my intention. But the conversation just ended up on a topic that sparked a thought and it just came out. So it's like, grab a beer, grab a mate,
just have a chat.
Have a chat, just catch up, because it's like sometimes things will fix themselves. Maybe not fix themselves, but at least,
Or you'll get clarity around it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so make sense in your head.
You get to process it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's interesting how you can have a thought and you think you know the thought, but once you actually have to articulate it into words, it's like, fuck, I kind of get that now. Whereas just up there, it's just swirling around.
That's it.
Yeah. But as far as everything you guys are doing, people can reach out to you direct. So you give everybody your socials.
Yeah, so we're...
I don't know if I want to ask you. You got the date wrong.
Yeah. No, don't ask me. That's all right. So I Farm Angels on handles. So Facebook, Instagram. We have a LinkedIn as well, but farmangels.org.au if you want to go to our website. But right now everything's going through flanoforafarmer.com.au.
Sweet.
That's where you'll be able to see your trucker caps like yours. Yeah. We have sold out of flanos, but there is opportunities there to get involved, donate, do a fundraiser, get involved and
get some awareness.
Wear your flano. Some awareness, but make sure you're wearing your flannel on the 15th of August.
Yeah, sounds good.
I got that one right that day.
You did. Well, gentlemen, Jason, Chris, thank you very much for coming down and sharing the Arvo with us. I think what you guys are doing is awesome, and I'm sure we'll see you out at an event at some point soon.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Thanks very much, Ben. Really appreciate the support and the interest that you guys have shown.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Again, thank you very much for the time. All right. Well, you guys have a safe drive. We'll wrap it up and we'll talk to you again.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Cheers, Ben.
Easy as.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.